that movie suck.
Blake Shelton is not sexy.
I'm tired of being a fat ass.
Honestly, she's batshit crazy.
Screw you and your vinyl collection.
Okay, I actually thought I was above average.
If you're thinking it, I'm gonna say it. Welcome to the Libra Lounge, everyone. This week's show is brought to you by Before the Cake Events. I have in the studio with me today, I'm Bully Free nonprofit organization. I've got two of the representatives. You guys want to introduce yourselves?
Hi, I'm Brenda Ybarra.
Oh, wait a minute now. Wait a minute. She's been talking and just, gabbing it up around here, playing with the animals. And as soon as she gets on the mic, she's like,
Hi, Brenda.
That's my little girl.
Thanks for being here, Brenda. And we have over here.
I'm Bud Collier, and I'm the director of I'mBullyFree.org.
Perfect. But I have a question for you.
Yes, ma'am.
How does one get the name Bud?
It's military.
Okay.
And there was a Big Bud and Little Bud. And
who were you? Little Bud?
Big Bud was from Eugene, Oregon, about 6'4".
Okay.
So I was Little Bud, and we raised a lot of hell in bars, and we're lucky we didn't get killed. But
right. In the bars or in the war?
What was so sad, in the age of 50, he died from colon cancer.
Oh, wow.
In this day and age, he retired, and he was over in Okinawa, and so we had a good love-hate relationship. So I was Little Bud, and he was Big Bud.
And then I'll be Little Bud.
Oh, and I was in a play back in Virginia called The Travel on Some Pine. Started in the 60s, and it's still going today, an outdoor drama.
Oh, really?
So I was Little Bud, and I had to sing a few songs. She's gone away. So as a kid, so that's how
I think he's going to take over this show today. Brenda, am I right?
I'm the shyest guy you ever had on the show.
Yeah, we can tell. You're just about as shy as I am.
Let me get this coffee on.
So before we get into the show, I want to remind everyone that Bayou Animal Services is having a feline frenzy on May 19th. If you're interested in being a part of the, I don't know if it's a show, because it says feline frenzy, so it kind of sounds like the feline is going to be running around in like tutus and doing stuff like saying, adopt me. I don't know. But if you're interested in participating, make sure to contact Sarah Lamp at Bayou Animal Services. I know you'll probably go because you've been. Both my animals are running around here, and they've made a new friend of Brenda.
Kitty cats or?
Yes, I think it's like an adoption day for
Looks
felines.
like I'm adopting.
Uh-oh.
Didn't you get a new kitty?
Yeah.
The other day?
Yo, and you're already looking for another one?
Yeah.
I think the people in my house would kill me if I came back with another animal. I think it's because my animals are so beyond spoiled and mean that they're like, oh, we don't need another one. Okay, if you're a friend of the Libra Lounge, you know what time it is. It is time for the gab.
We know she has a really big mouth, which sounds kind of dirty, and that's probably true too. Let's gossip. The Gab with Keisha.
Okay, so since the theme of today's show is bullying, I thought we would talk about some of Hollywood's biggest bullies. And right now, everyone is talking about this scandal with Bill Cosby. So, yeah, I mean, a lot of people are not happy that he was just convicted of sexual assault. I think people are still kind of blending Bill Cosby, the man, with Cliff Huxtable.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are like, there's no way he did that. The girls are ugly.
Jello pops.
Exactly. Yeah, he's going to have a whole new meaning of a pudding pop when he's in prison. Yeah. I know everyone's heard that joke like a million times this week. I personally think that he did it. I think he's guilty. I think he abused his power and took advantage of some girls. What do you guys think?
I think he did too.
Yeah, why do you think he did it?
Because the way he acts most of the time with the girls. So.
Yeah. And a lot of people are saying, he worked on the Cosby Show for all these years with, different actresses, and he never did anything. But predators know who to target. He knew he couldn't do anything to the actresses who played his daughters on the show. What about you, Bud?
Well, it's like when you do come out with that, if it's only one woman, nothing's ever going to happen.
Right.
And once you become that whistleblower, sometimes your reputation is gone until he is found guilty. Now everybody's, oh, look at these brave women. You know?
Right. At
So
first, it's like, oh, she's lying. She's not telling the truth. She's just trying to get money.
What else did he do? Right?
That we don't even know about.
And he had a fair trial, and his first one was thrown out, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Because I can't remember.
I can't remember either, but he most definitely got convicted this go round. I think part of my only issue is this. You know, I'm glad that the ladies did come forward and, you know, file charges against Bill, but I wish they had done it sooner. You know, they could have saved, a lot of other women from having this happen to them.
That's the climate. You know, my wife was a pharmaceutical rep for a major company, and she said it was the climate when they would go to these hotels, you know, they have these big banquets. You'd have to lock yourself in your room at night because she was that little petite little model that you won't sell in your medications.
Right.
And she said it was pretty scary. Some of these guys, when they'd get drunk and because they were your bosses, they think they have a right to do.
It's an abuse of power.
Yes.
You know, kind of the same with Cosby and who's the other guy? Harvey Weinstein. You know, these women are trying to break it into this business. You know, the business being acting, or some of them wanted to be reporters. And if you say, hey, Bill Cosby drugged me and molested me back in the 80s, 90s, I mean, your career was done before it even started. But then on the flip side, is that really the message that we want to send to young girls that, as long as you have this great opportunity, ignore what's happening, behind the scenes with this person? That's my only issue. I mean, I get it. I really do. But I just wish they had said something sooner. But I guess it's, it's happening now.
Well, the beauty of what we're seeing in the internet and news media and everything is this show right now is being pumped out to millions of people, right? And before, I'd take the old days in the 70s, I'd take a picture, you put it in the newspaper in your local town, and that was it.
Yeah.
And what I do with kids when we're talking about bullying is I'll take this picture. Here's Bud. Look how stupid he is. Run around the school, and that's where it stayed. But now, a click of a button, a click of a word, and it can go viral just like that.
Yes. No, you're absolutely right. I mean, people are famous right now just from putting something silly on YouTube, and then they get approached by businesses and saying, we want you to, sell our... My thing is flat tummy tea, because that just makes me laugh every time I think about people selling flat tummy tea. But then that person's getting a check every time they make that post. So, it is a lot easier now to get the word out about things than it used to be. Speaking of other bullies, it seems like Kanye West is having another round of bitch fits right now. I'm like, Kanye. I mean, I think yesterday he was doing an interview on TMZ, which is my Bible, and I think he took over the interview, and it lasted over 2 hours, and he was just ranting and ranting and ranting. Another thing, abuse of power, because he's Kanye, he can take over the whole studio and talk about whatever he wants. He even went as far as to say that slavery was a choice. And I'm like,
400 years ago, kind of.
Gosh, I'm like, it was a choice, but I don't think it was the choice of the slave. So he's really crying out for help right now, and I seriously think they need.
So he's on the Trump bandwagon.
I don't. This is the first time he's ever said anything about
Well, I know. Mr. President Trump took him up to Chicago. They were talking about a bully platform and helping the city with all the violence and stuff like that.
Because Trump is smart.
And then it just never heard from it again.
Right. So I don't know. According to some another interview he did, he said that he had liposuction, and since he had liposuction, he hasn't been on his meds, and so he's now saying that that's the reason why he's having another breakdown. But it's another breakdown. This isn't the first one that he's had. I personally think since his mom passed away, he just is going, there's no one who can control him. He thinks Kim, he loves Kim, but he had said that she's not on a genius level like he is, so he really doesn't take any of her advice. I'm just like, alrighty. But I do think he kind of falls into the category of, what's the saying about, the mad genius.
Yeah, but what's his message to the world right now?
I don't think he has a message at all.
It's like Are you trying to get all the brothers and sisters to go on the Trump bandwagon? Are you trying to get them off the opioids? You know, I've heard.
I don't think he knows.
Our message is this. You know, but he has such a sound board right now, and he's not using it correctly, in my opinion.
And here's the thing about Kanye. Kanye is very, very smart. He's educated, and I think he does fall into that category of a genius. I think he thinks on a higher level, but he has no self-control. He knows no boundaries. Now he's rich and he's famous, and he's acting a damn fool is what he's doing right now. And unfortunately, he can get on Twitter anytime he wants to and just say the stupidest of things. But on the flip side of that, he also is releasing new music. So it could all be a publicity stunt. You never know. Okay. So we've talked about some of our Hollywood bullies. When we come back, Bud and Brenda are going to tell us more about the organization I'm Bully Free. We'll be right back.
Ta-da!
Welcome back to the Libra Lounge. I have in the studio this morning with me the director of I'm Bully Free, but is it Collier or Collier?
Collier. If we're in France, we'd be Collier.
Collier. And Brenda, what's your last name?
Abad.
How do you say it?
Abad.
Abad?
Abade.
Abade.
Ybarra.
I'm not going to try to say your last name again because I'm going. She's trying to be French with a Mexican twist. Is that what it is? Before we get started, I have to address something really quick. To, the people that watch the Libra Lounge all the time. No, I'm not trying to channel Joan Crawford with my eyebrows. I finally got the bladed this. What is it? Microblading? I don't know, but they're going through something right now. I've got to wait 7 days for their cute. So don't be trying to talk about me because I'll come after you. Anyway, they'll be super cute by next week's show. So, okay. So give our listeners a brief history of behind the organization did you create this organization or did you help create it?
Well, in 2011, it was a bunch of veterans that were working together, and we had a couple of docs. I was working at NASA at that point after I retired from the military. So I was training.
Air Force, right?
Yeah, Air Force.
You're going to teach me how to fly a plane?
Teach how to parachute, but I'll teach how to fly too. And I teach college at Embry-Riddle, so I'm a very process-oriented person.
Okay.
So as we opened up this for-profit organization before I'm Bully Free, what we were doing, this was in 2010 and 11, we realized, these schools are not ready for the Parkland shooting. They're not ready to evacuate the school down in Dickinson after one of these plants blow up.
Right.
And they don't, at the end of the day, most of the schools do very little for that. So we have combat veterans with us, et cetera, in this organization. And what we were going to do is go in and go, you will do this. Here's our veteran that's going to make you follow these checklists. You're going to evacuate the school, et cetera, et cetera. So we were doing these audits and doing these evaluations of the schools, and they were failing miserably. Right here in Clear Lake in this area.
Okay.
And we're right in the area we're at, and all they really wanted was cameras. They didn't want to evacuate the school because of the time taken away from their academia.
Right.
So we realized, and we were going to get state funding. But imagine putting a combat veteran in your school and making them do more than the fire drill. So we messed around with that, and we realized we did some a college, we did 3 or 4 high schools, and wrote these big reports, and nobody was interested. So about that time period, my buddy, that was the director, we didn't even think about it, and we started seeing all this bullying. Well, one of the guys, Ron Mumau, is the chief psychiatrist for NASA, and some other guys on our board says, well, we have this ability to help kids. That's what we're after. And right about that time, Adrian's neighbor's kid was getting bullied. And I said, well, we're here. We have the processes. So that's how it started. And so that was in December. And about that same time period, when we're putting in for the 501c3, which takes about a year, my daughter was living at Fort Bragg with her mother. And she was Hispanic and white, of course, and she looked very white. So she was bullied for those reasons. She had a cleft lip. So you had that scar and all those things that once I call it your mojo.
Right.
Once I take your mojo away, you don't get it back with a hug.
Right.
So throughout her life, she was bullied. She became a bully. And on Christmas Day or Christmas night or whenever, Christmas Eve, somebody that knew her stabbed her over 100 times.
Wow.
And they never found the killer. All this DNA and all this stuff. This was in 2011.
Right.
And so that's when we made the
nonprofit
in her name because of the violence and
right, because that's for someone to stab someone 100 times, that's someone that knows you.
Passionate.
Most definitely. And I can't believe they have no evidence to.
They never found a killer.
No, not even close.
Person had no DNA with all that blood and stuff like that. Or her mother found her. Christmas morning. So her mother was a veteran at Fort Bragg Army, and her stepfather had got killed the year prior. So Betty, my ex-wife, lost her whole family in a very short time period. It devastated her. And so we just don't even really talk about me and her about Candace and things of this.
Is she part of the organization in any way?
No.
Okay, so Candace, your daughter Candace, is really the driving force behind this organization, and you keep striving to make it bigger.
I don't really play her out a lot because there's enough violence, there's enough sorrow out there. But when people go see, well, this is Candace, my daughter, and this is what happens. Happened to her.
Right. And it's your personal tie to the organization. Now, let me ask you, because people tend to take the word bullying and implement what they want to benefit what's going on with them. Oh, someone said I was ugly today, so I'm being bullied. And my background is in social working, and I, worked in a middle school, which is like the breeding ground for bullying.
That's where it starts.
It starts right there. And, I'd have kids come in, and they would say, Miss Holman, so-and-so call me a name. I'm like, well, you know what? That does happen. You know what I mean? We're all guilty of that. But, that's not bullying. So can you tell us how do you describe bullying?
Well, the beauty of what you just said is years ago, 2012, we could get 10 parents together. What is bullying? I would get a call from my grandfather. These kids called my kid an N-word, right?
Right.
And I go, once? That's called discriminatory,
being an asshole.
Being an asshole. And that's not really bullying. So the CDC gave us some guidelines so that so what it is it's exploits. It's over a time period. It's more than once. See what we see on the news all the time. These kids getting the crap beat out of them by other kids. That's assault and battery. That's not bullying.
That's not bullying.
But as you peel back that layer and start talking to that parent, it started with, hey, you're ugly, blah. It starts with the verbal, and then it goes to the physical, and then it goes to the cyberbullying.
Right.
So, but it's an onslaught, a continuous, more than once, twice, 2 or 3 times. But if one word triggers you and affects your life, that's what we're after. So it's hard to say exactly when it started, but as you start talking to these parents, especially after the kid commits suicide or hurting themselves, and you start asking, well, when did this happen? It started in grade school all the way up through middle school, and it tends to drop off a little bit towards high school.
Yes.
Because what they do is they leave you out. More. That they understand they're going to get in trouble for pushing you.
Right.
They're going to get in trouble for calling you these names.
Yeah, and there's consequences. You don't get to play football. You don't get to cheer Friday night, or you don't get to be part of this organization, or it could ruin your college career as well. You're most, and I used to tell my students, it is when something is doing something continuously. It's like some kids come to school just to pick on someone. Like that is their mission for the day, is to make that one kid's life miserable for whatever reason, whether it's because they're jealous or it reminds them of something. Yeah, and it 9 times out of 10, it always has something to do with their own home life, And if you talk to someone, an adult now who used to be a bully, they don't even remember being a bully. But that person that they bullied can remember every single time they said something. So, Brenda, I know you work with the organization, and I would love for you to share your story with our listeners.
Sorry.
Pretend like you're talking to the dog or the cat. But she was really like, it's so funny because when she starts to talk, she's quiet. But she talks, she goes, oh my God, you're so cute. Why are you so cute?
Pretend
so,
like we're
pretend
in the
like
car
I'm the
and
dog
you're talking
sushi.
to Uncle Bud.
Okay.
I'm Uncle Bud to this
It
family.
started when I was 13 because I lost my grandpa. And then people started bullying me about that.
Wait. So people started bullying you because your grandfather had passed.
Yeah, because he used to walk me to my bus stop every day, and they'll be like, why is the old man walking you? So, and then once he passed away, they're all like, oh, good riddance that he passed. So,
Oh, wow.
yeah. So it started from that, and
So
then
what grade were you in?
I was only in 7th grade.
Yeah. So that's the ugly years, Will.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. That
Sixth,
fifth,
seventh,
sixth,
and-
yes. And I always tell people they kind of calm down in high school. I don't know what it is. But, I mean, for them to make fun of you because well, first they were picking on you because your grandfather was walking you to the bus stop. Which, I mean, I would do that too. Because of kids like that. So when he passed away, you were already going through a hard time, and then they started picking on you because he had passed away.
Yes.
And then from there, what happened?
I got very like suicidal. I would cut myself and everything, and that's when people were saying she's just doing it for attention. Then they started making fun of my weight gained and how I looked, because at that point I didn't really care about nothing because I lost my best friend. And yeah.
Tell them about your football experience.
I played football my 7th and my 8th grade and my 9th grade year.
Girl, give it up.
Tackle football.
Football?
On the boys' team.
Wow, you're bold.
And so why were you bullied for that, sweetheart?
Because I was a girl and not a guy. And they said that I shouldn't be playing the guy sport, that I'm just trying to, with the guys.
Oh my God, really?
So I was going to play my 10th grade year, but then the coaches said that girls aren't allowed to play no more. So.
Yeah. Okay.
What school district was that?
Pasadena High School.
You can't tell someone they can't play because of their sex.
Yeah,
that's total discrimination right there.
Yeah.
They don't do nothing.
So you had a lot of years that you were in a dark place. Was football like an outlet for you?
It took away my aggression, but singing, like my choir, was the outlet for me.
So singing? I sing a little bit too.
I couldn't either.
I mean, if you want me to drop a couple of notes, I can. Yes, I love to sing. I mean, even now when I'm stressed out, I'll get in my car and just drive, listen to music and sing, and have a full-blown concert in the car by myself. So with these we're going from 13 to 15, 16 that you were dealing with all this. You started cutting, which can you explain that? I understand the background behind cutting, but some people don't. They just say, what, are you trying to kill yourself? Are you doing it for attention? But there's more that goes into it. It goes deeper than that.
Basically, I wanted to kill myself, but I didn't want to hurt my family at the same time.
Yeah.
So cutting was just like the outlook for it, because it made me feel good.
Yeah.
But
who taught you that?
Myself, because I just saw the blade and I was just thinking.
But nobody gave you the input or the idea?
No.
Okay.
I used to have several students that would cut, and it was just like what Brenda said. They all of a sudden, it could have been just a scrape that they accidentally got, and then they saw the blood, and it was kind of like a release for them. And so then that's when they started using, glass or a knife or razor blade or something, and they always figure out a way to hide it from everyone else. So it's a sense of release when everything is bottled up, and you try to do things to get rid of the aggression, like football and singing, but you were surrounded by a group of assholes who just wanted to pick at you for whatever reason, whatever they were going through. So since then, how have you been able to overcome the cutting? And now you're here, in front of an audience telling your story. How did you go from A to B?
My Uncle Bud.
Uncle Bud.
He helped me with everything.
How did you guys meet?
He had called my mom. I just got done from doing my audition for The Voice.
Oh, you auditioned for The Voice. Okay.
And we're at McDonald's, and he had called my mom asking if like what's happening to me and everything. And then I got invited to go to that children's thing.
Yeah. So see, I'll get a call from somebody on the internet. They go, "Hey, call these parents." So I don't talk to kids until I get permission from their parents.
Right.
And it was one of my NASA friends that I work with at NASA that called me and said, "Hey, can you help these people?" And so we start working, and I show them what the school should be doing, even though they've never done anything for this family at Pasadena
So
High.
no school officials helped you in any kind of way. They didn't offer for you to speak to the counselor. They didn't try to set up meetings with your parents or with these kids' parents. Did you report it to the school?
We had went to the school board multiple
Yeah, they've been to the school board.
And nothing happened.
Nothing had been done. And to this day, they haven't even done an anti-bully rally.
Oh, really?
So, but see, as I met this family, see, they're looking, okay, here, who the hell are you guys?
Yeah.
It's exact. So I said, why don't we have you come to we were doing a child's anti-obesity fun walk at a church down in Clear Lake. So Evan Vazatis, the actor, T-Ron Hicks, he's a 19 belt wrestler, Hall of Fame, Rocky Long, 7 MMA champion, and Michael Hill and all these guys. And we had, who was the group? What were they? The Kings. Well, we had a singing group. So we're at this church, and that's how we met.
Okay.
And then you didn't sing that day, did you? Because I didn't know she really didn't come out that she liked to sing that yet, right? So so we started going around and she goes to events with me. So she sings at the big McDonald's event downtown where there's 30,000 kids running around each day. And just incredible. But
30,000 kids?
A day. Yeah, that's the kids directory.
30,000 kids you sing in front of?
Yeah,
that's a lot of kids.
Probably the biggest crowd we've had was probably 3,000 or 4,000.
Okay.
And this year it was so cold. Remember, it was like down in the 50s for us. Well, so she sings at schools and things for the kids. And
do you share your story with them as well, or do you just go to entertain? Both. Okay. So do kids come up to you and say, I'm going through a similar thing, and ask you for advice?
Not kids, but a lot of teenagers.
Teenagers. How old are you?
I'm 18.
Okay, so they can relate.
She's actually worked with some of the kids offline from the schools because she knows nobody's really so. But when I talk to the superintendent, we have this great program, blah blah blah. You hear it every time on the news media.
Yeah.
But when you really get in there and peel it
they
back,
don't.
Here's why did 5 children hurt themselves today?
Right.
Why did this happen?
Yeah.
Because they're allowed to do that. Keep it not transparent. Keep it opaque. So. Her mother was at the kids directory big stage the other day, and so
and that's the kids directory right here.
Yeah, they're one of our.
I used to love when Skylar was little.
Yeah.
This just tells you everything that's going on in your community, from camps that are going on for your kids, all the way to what boutiques are opening up for your kids. So it's like the Bible for our area.
We go to 4 or 5 of their events every year. So that's the way we get a lot of our information out to parents.
Do you think it's better to start when the kids are younger? Yes. Or do you think they should start in 5th or 6th grade? Because I think that's too late.
Start them in pre-K.
Exactly.
See, when do kids become prejudiced?
When they start going to school.
When they start going to school. If you could segregate you would have the only prejudice that you would have in your household. But they're all of a sudden, the next day, they're exposed. And a kid 5 years old has these right now.
They have phones, yes.
So, and, when you see these little kids in pre-K, everybody loves everybody. And then by the time they're in the 5th grade, he can't sit
with us. And,
because of their parents, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
So our programs is... You need to do it more than once a year.
Yes.
But imagine, like your radio show, if we set this up once a year for 30 minutes, and nothing else was done, there was no preparatory, don't even know if the equipment works, how successful would this show?
It's not going to be successful at all. People are going to forget about it each time.
Every time. At one point, you go, this microphone always shorts out. So,
right.
And that's what we're seeing. It's a 30-minute singing and dancing.
Right. It's just to say, hey, we do implement this program, even though it's once a year during one assembly. Okay, when we get back, I want you to tell us more about your program. Also, I know you guys are a nonprofit, so I want you to tell us, if people are interested in making a donation, and then tell us what you guys are going to be doing next. And then I want you to tell us about Bully Bear.
Okay.
When we get back, we'll be right back in a few minutes with the Libra Lounge. Hey, we're back with the Libra Lounge. Before we continue with the interview with Bud and Brenda, this segment is brought to you by Femme Fatale Studio. Jenny, I'm going to get this right. I was going to try to be cute and kind of create my own little thing, but let me just read straight from the script. Okay, right now, Femme Fatale is running a 12-week accountability program for people serious about achieving fitness goals. They create a personalized program with... I'm sorry, Jenny. I tried so bad to get it right, and you told me exactly what to say, and I can't read today, and let me try it again. If you want to get summer fine, go to Femme Fatale. Give them a call at 281-678-8037. The 12-week program is great. Everything is personalized for you. You get an assessment. They figure out what you need because everyone is different. So your program will be different from my program. My program will be at the bottom level because y'all know I don't like to work out. So thank you for sponsoring this segment, Femme Fatale. All right, Bud, Brenda.
Yes.
So, what school districts do you guys service?
We've been to HISD, a lot of schools.
Okay.
3rd and 5th Ward, wherever they're at. We do a lot over in Missouri City, or we go there 2 or 3 times a year. And then we've got other schools across the country that our guys have. But as you start going to these schools, it's a 30-minute program, and we leave, and then then next year they go, we forgot about doing it. Everyone had one at Pasadena?
Nope.
No.
Never had one at Pasadena High.
Okay. So let me ask you, I know you guys go into the schools, you do this 30-minute program, but is there an actual program where you can give the schools and say, look, these are the lessons that we have designed that you can, use every Friday, make it a bully day?
Well, in fact, I just had a school approach me the other day wanting that more than a bully. Like I have rappers, we play songs. So during that 30 minutes, I can do testimonies and get the kids all excited. But it's just like when you go to the gym for 30 minutes and that's it.
Right.
So we've got 16 different programs that we have, but we convinced this school that they should do once a week some type of lesson where all the teachers at that first period, they talk about what is hate, how to be an upstander. And we've got all those outlines.
Okay.
And then you put the posters up. And then you make the ambassadors. So you remember the hall monitors? Was that during your day period? The people in the hall that would monitor, but that was one of the things. Well,
I think that's where bullying probably started from with the hall monitors. Yeah.
Right. But there's kids in a school, so you got 5th, 6th, and 7th graders at middle school. So the 7th graders are the seniors,
right?
The biggest part,
right?
And they become bully ambassadors. So if a kid has an issue, then they can go to him or to the teacher. But they have the authority. But sometimes just by saying, "Don't do that," that'll stop it right there.
Yeah.
And a lot of times the teachers will ignore it. And I've got case after case where somebody said the wrong N-word, right, to another, and it went inflammatory, and the whole school's mad at this little girl simply because the teacher goes, she didn't say that. Well, what, does that make sense?
Yeah.
But as we ignore it, it grows, it festers, and the next thing you know, then they're cutting. So I can bring all these programs in, but the schools say they don't have any money for it. Right?
Okay.
But that would be 20 or 30 hours of my time. Well, I'm retired. I can go do that.
Right.
But I can't do that with other people because there's been very few organizations that are all volunteer that are successful.
Right.
There's not one, right?
Yeah.
Where everybody works for free.
You have to have funding.
Well, and so none of our guys in our organization have ever got a paycheck. Never, because and as you go looking for funding, it's not out there. So we've got chapters in Seattle, Pennsylvania, Washington, D.C., and one in Hereford, Texas.
Okay.
And, so as they open up, they're just Facebook pages. But what we do is we draw those families to me, and say you've got a incident with a child that's special needs, right? What do you do with that child?
Right.
How do you get evidence? And the poor baby can't even talk.
Yeah.
Well, we start working with them and say, here's the laws. Remember, I was an auditor for NASA. I teach college and teach processes, so I understand the law. And they're not following the law,
Right.
but nobody makes them. Well, you
Yeah.
were in the schools. They do whatever they want. And then if something happens, what do? Lawyer up and close the
Yeah.
doors. Well, we can't talk about that because they almost play the HEPA law with the medical. It's kids, and I'm going, so you can't even tell the parents what
What's
happened
going on.
to that
Yeah.
kid, and that needs to change.
Yeah.
And so back to the funding question is I can do this, a lot of my audits right out of my home.
Okay.
And so when I have an issue with a special education child or 504, I have an expert out here that
Good.
does this. I have one of the kids that he's a combat veteran, and he came from Watson Compton as a kid. So in the 80s and 90s, you're either a blood or a crip or they killed you.
Yeah.
So how he got out of the barrios was he joined the military. So he shows up at my college. Mike's a big boy, isn't he? And he's like my son. So he was one of my students, fell in love with him, and he was a private investigator. And we were actually protesting the schools without really giving them a trial and jury. Now I wish we'd continue that. But we were up in one town, and there was actually a threat on one of my clients. So remember, we're veterans, so I put a bulletproof vest on her. We're out there on the road, hopefully that she wouldn't get shot because of that violence in these little towns where you don't come in and stir up the
little redneck towns.
Well, like
and
Ferguson's one where all of a sudden, So Michael was my bodyguard.
Okay.
That's how I started working with him. So he's a security. So when he got out of college, there's no job. So he's in and out of Asia fighting for us.
Okay.
As a super duper. So he's my guy that understands what happens to get into that school.
Right.
Stuff like that.
So let me ask you a question. If a school district decides, you know what, we're having lots of issues with bullying, what we're doing isn't working, they reach out to you guys, how do they get your program into their school? Let's say they want you to come out more than twice a year.
Yeah, right.
Maybe once a month and, teach a class, about bullying. Or, how to report bullying or how to deal with bullying.
See, we can do that, but when did you retire from teaching? Or
4 years ago.
Right.
I was a social worker.
You were a social worker. At your school. Did you ever have an anti-bully presentation from anybody in that other than a web-based thing?
No.
See, Pasadena. So nobody's teaching the teachers on what to do, and the teachers are once you're a whistleblower, there's a chance you're going to get in trouble. Once you see something wrong and you won't let it go, your career could be over.
That's very, very true.
The teachers are not getting taught. What about these kids that are 23 years old right out of college? They don't even understand what the climate is.
And then they're becoming teachers.
Right, and they're becoming without training.
Right.
What about the substitutes?
Yes.
Now, every week we hear about a substitute.
Right.
Who got? It's a little guy in autism. Now his problem with this kid, his outburst, right? When he gets frustrated.
Right.
So the teacher threw a clipboard at him, hit him in the head. And they tried to cover it up.
Wait.
Well, you see this.
You cannot make this shit up.
No, you can't. No.
A teacher threw a clipboard at an autistic child because the child had an outburst, which they do when he was frustrated.
That's his timeout. You send him to the timeout room. That's part of his 504.
Right. But I don't think part of the 504 was to throw the clipboard.
No.
Yeah,
but
that's just crazy.
Who vets these teachers? See, tomorrow, because I have an education, I can become a substitute teacher. I don't even think you have to have a 2-year degree?
I don't even think you have to have a 2-year degree anymore.
So that's some of the issues. Who vets these teachers? And you've met some of these teachers that are plain ass bullies. They shouldn't be in public light anymore.
Well, I will say that at the campus that I was at, yes, the teachers have, your heart has to go out to them because they have to deal with so much, and their job is there to educate, and then, they have to become, bodyguards and jailers sometimes and counselors sometimes.
Fed. And now you're going to throw a 10-hour bully investigation on that.
On top of that,
I go to football games for the Texans, and on Sundays, I can tell if it's a teacher because they're in there grading papers before they go in to see the football.
Their job doesn't stop when that bell rings. But I will say at the school that I was at, what they did was they got other nonprofit organizations to come in and, like, for example, me, I worked for communities and schools.
Yeah.
But I was based inside of the school, was there every day. So we could have a bullying. With my program, we could do whatever we wanted.
Right.
So if we wanted to have, you come in once a month and speak to our group of kids, we could do that. So I get it for the teachers. It's a lot. That's why we're losing so many teachers right now. Because they're having to deal with some underpaid, overworked, and then you add bullying, parents, and all kinds of stuff on top of it. It's too much, So I think that it is good for schools to utilize all these nonprofit organizations that, we do have in the area to come in and say, we need help with this. Can you guys concentrate on that? That makes a big difference. And, I know in Dickinson, there's a zero bullying policy that they have. I don't know if others means? I'm sorry, that's my dog snoring.
Yeah. Zero tolerance meant that both kids get the same punishment. That's against the law.
Yeah.
See, remember, I study these laws. There's 8 laws from the state that says you'll have this. You shall.
Right.
Shall means that you can't. Shall means that if a child is getting bullied and gets attacked and protects himself, shouldn't get in trouble.
Right.
What they were doing in Houston was both kids were going on probation.
Yeah.
Down in the inner city. All right, and I even had I used to go down every year with the judicial part, the juvenile judicial system, and talk to the parents.
Right.
So how does that man keep his
kids safe?
How does he keep his job? He's got to keep butts in those chairs.
Right.
So he's saying that 25% of these kids were there because they were protecting themselves.
Right.
And how do you go? And so that's what zero tolerance means.
Yeah.
You're allowed to defend yourself against the bully.
Right.
And Section 7 of the state law.
Right.
You have to have procedures. You have to have this. But when you go to these grievances, you're going to a biased school board. Because I've got proof of Hampshire Finette. Everybody that goes to these school boards is never a problem with the school.
Yeah.
You see it, and you're seeing it up at Katy.
Yeah.
I won't even get started with that guy. But what that started was something simple. Had he worked with that family, Sean, forget Sean's name, A plus legacy, they could have nipped that in the butt.
Right.
So they're opening an investigation on that guy, and
can't wait to see how that turns out.
It's ugly. Every day they're finding out an issue.
More
but
stuff,
as we go into these schools, if somebody shows up at your work as a sociologist, you have to write that. Where does that paperwork go?
Well, with each kid that we work with, we have to keep a file on them. So every single time we saw them about anything, it was documented.
Right, and that's a medical record to some sort, right?
No, not for us. It was not a medical record.
So it's a school record, right?
It's a record for our organization. If someone needed to get some of that information, we could give it to them. Yeah. We didn't have to go by the HIPAA laws. Because
you weren't counseling them.
Exactly.
Yeah. So how long did you keep those records?
Oh, at the end of each school year, we turned it in, and
to the school.
No, to our home offices, and they would keep that and store that.
Right.
At first, it was like, paper after paper after paper, and then everything became electronic. So everyone had a electronic file.
Yeah. So the other day, the TEA, you see, they're getting all these issues with the disability kids, right? Remember, they're not given the appropriate money. Remember that investigation. So I sent an email up. I said, remember, I'm a professor. I'm in statistics. I go, so at, let's say, Pasadena High School, can you give me the statistical analysis on how many bully incidents that have been in Pasadena? Is that HISD?
That's HISD.
Yeah, right.
Nothing.
But
Yeah.
because nobody's making them do
No
it.
one's documenting
So
it.
we really don't know how many bully incidents. The
Right.
school I went to the other day, and I set our programs down, I brand new principal and a brand new, I don't even know what this lady's job was, but it wasn't the counselor.
Okay.
It's some new title.
New title.
So we want to do this. I said,
Right.
well, this is what I want to do. This is what I want to do. And this is what I'm going to charge you guys.
Right.
But don't want to
Soon
do
as
it.
you say charge.
But they admitted to me that they didn't have a bully process. They admitted they didn't have any way for people to turn that in.
Right.
Anonymously. They admitted that they didn't do anything over and over. And now, because
That's sad.
it's pretty scary. But so when something happens in that school, I'm going to be that first person. I said, we offered you guys.
Right. And you
know,
said and they can find the money. When we come
Yes.
back, I want you guys to give us your contact information and tell us a little bit more about these cute little books that you guys gave me. I got
Yay.
them for free.
And they're autographed.
And they're autographed too. So thank you. Wasn't I supposed to say for free?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so stick to the Libra Lounge. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Libra Lounge. But before we go into our last segment, can you tell us about these books? And by the way, thank you.
you're
Tell
welcome.
everyone all about them.
Well, the first book that we wrote was about Bully and Bella Bear, and that's our little mascot. So we
Okay.
go into the schools, and when you open it up, I wrote the original ideal of the book and
Okay.
gave it to Stacy Imhoff, which drew all these pictures.
Okay.
And it took her a year to draw this. So, and as you open it up, it's dedicated to my daughter, Candace.
Perfect.
So it's about bullying. So that's M. Deuce, my rapper. That he wrote a song, "Let Me Live," and when he was born, all of his organs are on the outside of his stomach.
Oh.
And he lived. He had scoliosis, and he was biracial in Seattle. So he wrote this song, "Let Me Live," that's got close to 2 million hits on YouTube, and he's
wow.
never sold it. So I wrote the thing, and what it is Willie the Wolf is the bad kid, and at the end of the day,
Be the wolf?
I know. Well, that's what you. Yeah. So, and everybody's got little characters. So Stacy drew this, and it's up on our page, and you can buy that one.
So if they want to purchase one of your books, where do they go to?
Go right to our I'm Bully Free page, or Facebook page,
Or Facebook
or
page,
Amazon.
and they can purchase. Every classroom should have one of these.
Yeah, and every
And Amazon too?
yeah Amazon.
Oh, that's smart.
So, Go Team was the next book that we wrote.
Oh, is that me?
That could be.
That looks like
Yeah.
me, bud.
So what it's about is a little football player, and how many times Altuve. How many people told him in his life that
couldn't do it.
he
Yeah.
probably started in Pony League in college, and now look at him.
Yeah.
So Evan is in this, and Katie. So Evan is an actor on Ozark.
Okay.
So he keeps dropping the ball,
Which
and
is
he
a good
finally.
series, by the way.
Is it on what channel is it on?
Netflix.
Netflix?
Yeah.
Ozark. Got
Ozark.
it. Okay. And you said Jason Bateman is also on
Laura
the show?
Linney and Evan's in 6 episodes.
Okay.
So
I'll have to check it out.
So Evan is one of our advocates. So we decided to. I said, well, let me write a book about this idea.
Right.
So Katie, see her in a wheelchair. She's a Paralympian.
Okay.
And she worked for me in the military and worked with me at NASA. So
Okay.
she's been like my daughter. So when she had some encephalitis, or when they put that shunt in your brain, she became partially paralyzed. And in your 30s or late 30s, you normally just go to the chair and you quit. Well, she started throwing the shot put. So she's got like 20 records, gold medals. So it's about
Impressive.
never giving
Never
up.
giving up.
And of course, you're in there.
Right
As the
there,
cheerleader.
everyone. Right there. But I'm going to sign all the books
Yes.
right here by the cheerleader, because that's me. So if you're interested in buying any of these books, you can go to the I'm Bully Free Facebook page.
Yeah.
Or you can go to Amazon. Or you can go to their website and make the purchase. I think this is fabulous to have inside of a classroom, because sometimes the kid just needs to go sit in a reading corner and read a damn book.
Stacy, since she goes to a lot of schools and reads the books to the kids.
Good. I like that. So why don't you tell us a little bit about David's Law?
Well, David's Law, before 2006, 16, yeah. There was no law against me cyberbullying you, really. Remember Brandy Vila down in Texas City? The only reason that family got in trouble is because he was 18. But before that, I could cyberbully your kid. Nothing could do it. So it was.
And that's what they do. Because it's so easy to hide behind a computer or a phone. Everyone's a Billy Badass.
Billy Badass,
know,
yeah.
and
Why don't you come out? Remember, why don't you say that to my face?
to my face, exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
So Maureen Moloch, David was her son, and this was in December, like 2015. Senator Mendez, Texas state senator, was working on this law called David's Law because he was getting just nasty. They're calling him pig boy, all kinds of ugly things. And another little kid, Lionel, that wasn't me. That was the puppy snoring.
He is snoring his ass off down here, just rude.
So, the young man named Mr. Vasquez had cancer. And, when you lose all your hair, they were taking his facsimile and calling him, die, you mother, and all this stuff. So, what's so sad was Senator Mendez is at Maureen Moloch's house, David's house, working on this law, and David committed suicide in January because of that. Now, what happens before, who cares? You can't do anything about it.
Right.
If you're cyberbullying this child as another teen, and she commits suicide, then you get some type of criminal record, right? But now the nuance is if your child is being cyberbullied because of that group of kids, and they have to go see a psychiatrist because of that, you can sue them for some of that money. See, what happens is your child gets cyberbullied. Now they go see a social worker, a psychologist for the rest of their life, which ain't free. Simply because, how fragile are our kids?
Very.
And you're in the years where your hormones are way
crazy.
Out of, so anything said is taken out of context. And
then they're liable for paying that money back.
Possibly,
for that kid. Well, and that's good because you know what? I bet once parents have to start actually paying money for what their kids are doing, a lot of bullying is going to stop. Because when you start messing with people's money, they don't like that so much.
What happens if your kid gets a bunch of speeding tickets?
The parent has to pay for all of that. Then you got lawyers and insurance.
And then your insurance goes up. But right now, I can bully your kid from day one all the way through, and they might put this bully and the detention.
Right.
One of those,
DAOC or, the alternative school or something like that.
Which they're putting all the bullies in there, and they're not fixing the problem.
You just put them all together, and what does that fix? Nothing.
It just pisses them off.
It really, really does. They're not getting educated or anything like that.
But you remember what drives the school is what?
Money.
So what does it cost per day for a kid in Texas to go to school? $60. That's what they get. So across this country, 160,000 kids are afraid to go to school and they miss school.
Right.
On some statistical, I don't know where they got that, but just start adding that up.
That's a lot.
That's a lot of money. Yeah. And then the ones that drop out of school, how about all the kids that are homeschooled? See it right here, you're seeing more homeschooling.
Yeah.
Because of the violence, because of the...
Parents are scared.
Parents are scared.
Yeah. All right. So it is time for Bitch Please.
Bitch Please! You be rolling down the street telling stories, bitch, you never tell the truth. Bitch, please. Everybody know you lying, bitch, cause all you do is lie.
All right, so before we get into the questions that we have from our audience today, I just want to thank you guys for coming, and especially you, Brenda, for being so open about your story. When I made a post yesterday, I told people to feel free to send me a message if they had any questions, and I went through and I picked out 4. So I'm going to let you guys answer these because I'm sure the answers that I would give to people will probably be categorized as a little bit bullying. All right, so I got a question from someone who says, this is from an adult talking about adult bullying. How can a staff member deal with bullying from a school principal or vice principal? And this happens a lot. I have seen it firsthand.
Well, the schools have a grievance problem, the 1, 2, 3, 4, and before you can actually do a lawsuit, you've kind of got to go through that grievance problem.
Right.
But see, now you're going to tell on your Bill Cosby.
Exactly.
That's loved by everybody.
Yeah, you've got to see every single
That's
day.
loved, and he's got the Jello pops. So here's this young lady that was either harassed by the principal sexually or physically or whatever it is.
I think a lot of the time it's just, I don't like you, so I'm going to pick and pick and pick and pick at you. So, it's try to force you into quitting.
Right.
You know, and then how do you deal with that? You still got to keep your job.
That's true. That's the ugliness of our system.
Right.
You know? And then so you go to the school board and you've got this revered person that they've handpicked and vetted.
Exactly.
That can't do any wrong. The coach, et cetera, et cetera.
Oh, yeah.
You see
a coach.
the coach.
Yeah. Friday Night Lights.
Yeah, exactly. So what do you do with that? Well, do you want to be miserable the rest of your life, or do you want to be that upstander?
Right.
And but if one comes out, there's
The
usually
other
more.
ones, yeah.
But
I would keep a log, too.
What we tell parents and teachers, keep a log.
Yes.
And see, this is a one-party state where I can tape this right now without you knowing it.
Right.
And so as we look at kids, who's going to believe that you're going up against this? He used to be the coach, now he's the superintendent, the principal. That's got 5 championship rings.
Yeah.
He's beloved. The
good old boy.
The Clear Lake coach here.
Right.
He's not a bad coach.
Yeah.
But they named the damn gymnasium after him.
Right. Yeah.
Right. So what
and
do
that
you do
person's
with that?
bullying you, and everyone's like, "You're lying." It's the same thing with the women.
But
with Bill Cosby, you're lying.
But a video and audio takes all that crap out of the way.
So basically, watch your own back, document everything, and build your own case. It's really the only way that you can go up against someone who's in charge, especially in a school district.
Yeah.
You know.
Lorna, I'm sorry about got your back. It took her 5. She's up in Montana. She went up against the school board. They planted stuff. Took her 5 years to. She's bullies and blowhards. She's written books about it.
Right.
And about bankrupted him, but she finally won. But she's no longer a teacher.
Of course not. Yeah.
But remember, once I throw that card at him, and that superintendent, it was in Ohio where they had a Excel spreadsheet. If you got on that, you were done.
Oh wow!
And they found that out. So now whether you're a pedophile or whatever you did, or they didn't like you, you got on that, you're done. You're not going to teach.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. How important is that job in your mental health?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And you see it all the time. But once you go up against that school board,
it's a fight. Yeah. And you have to be ready for it.
Does another school board want you either?
Yeah, and that's true. And you know, it gets really complicated when you live in these little bitty towns. Superintendent lives in the town. You live in the same subdivision.
Well, I put it like this, you know, I forget, my wife made a term about it, but you know, everybody went to high school together. Everybody went to college. And so you're the judge, you're the superintendent, Brenda. So we're going to ruin your superintendent job for some little teacher or some
and that's
kid.
how they look at it sometimes, unfortunately.
I'll say that publicly. And so that makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
So it's a scary thing, you know.
So I wrote a 20-page pamphlet book as I sat down with parents and teachers. I go, so once you do this, these are the positive and negatives. Once you get on TV with that, do you think they're gonna love you tomorrow?
No, they're not. No.
See, my teacher, she got bullied like 2 days ago, and they on her wall it has said her name in mixed up letters, Miss Geiger. Well, a student put Miss the N-word,
thinking it was cute.
And
That's nothing
at first
cute
she
about
was
that at
laughing
all.
about it, but then of her colors she started thinking more and more.
Yeah, that's completely disrespectful and inappropriate.
And so she had a whole speech about it, and she had brought up back in the history, and half those kids didn't know, like, except
the
for
history behind the word.
And
right.
it's like
go sit down and go read a book.
So that's So as that happens with these principals and teachers, especially 24 years old, what are you going to do?
It's once again abuse of power.
Yes.
Even in, a school-based situation. Okay. So another one of our listeners said, my son has been bullied continuously and have tried to work with the school. It seems like it's the same thing over and over again. I've tried to work with the school to get the issue resolved, but nothing is helping. Should I try homeschooling?
You shouldn't try. At some points, if it gets too bad, to where your kid wants to commit suicide from it, then you should try it. But at the same time, it also takes away your child's ability to gain some more friends.
Right.
That's in my opinion.
Yeah, I think for me, I think that it's important for kids to actually go to school, because that's where you gain so much experience, life experience, but then you get to, it's life or death sometimes when it comes with bullying. It's like, how do I do this? Is it fair for me to have to take my kid out and homeschool? Because we're not homeschooling, that means, you've got to get someone to actually do all of that, which
Money
that means
to
a
pay,
parent, yes,
Are they
my sister
able
was
to
able to even do it, or should we do something about this kid who's bullying my, my son?
Like my sister was homeschooled because of her disability, and that's just that we didn't have to pay nothing, but the teachers coming in it's like unreal.
It's
and
a lot.
She missed her friends, of course.
Right.
So
I that one's tough, because you want your kid to gain, friendships, have, be exposed to extracurricular activities, and just you gain so much during those years at school, you know what I mean? It's the foundation for life. But then your kid's being picked on continuously at school, and
the teacher should do something about it.
Right.
Do you get picked on?
Yes, constantly.
Right.
And it's one of those, once it starts, we had one little girl from New Orleans, because she was dirty when she was younger. Her parents had a lot of, they were drug addicts that never washed her. So she got the name known as Pigpen through her whole life now.
Yeah.
And they just, it's Pigpen, even though now she's clean, et cetera, et cetera. That was one of her bullying. Well, look what I do when I talk to the parents. See all those sites there?
Yes.
Let me just give you an example of this is going to work. These are.
Should we turn it this way so the camera can pick it up? No? Okay.
Let's go to Lake Olympia. Now let's go to Katy, right? So I sat down with the parent and do an audit report. Let's see if I can show it. So as I start talking to the parent, if you don't know the requirements, see, as I go through, there's the laws, and here's my template. So Katy High School got an F from my audit.
Oh, wow.
You know why? I'll read it to you later, but because they're not following the law, and I can prove it. Because remember, I audited NASA for food. I audited NASA on how we make airplanes.
Right.
So I know what I'm doing. So I compare the law to what they should be doing.
Right.
So as I sat down with the
KDISD. Wow.
I can go to all these, every school in Texas has flunked my initial audit, because they can't even read the law and bring it down.
I don't think they even probably know them.
See, all their, so as a parent comes to me with that kid, I go, if you go in there and you be mama bear and start, bitch, guess what's going to happen to you? They'll get you for a terrorist threat.
Yeah.
I got a guy up in Hereford that can't come to school anymore because they were afraid of him, because they're not helping him. Another kid down in Hampshire for that. So as you sit here, go, so principal, you're supposed to be doing these policies. Right. Where is this corrective action? Yeah. Where is this sociologist or psychologist that's supposed to be helping my child? That's in your handbook. Right. Then they step back and go, oh, mama
she
got
knows
educated.
what she's doing. Yeah, she knows what she's talking about.
When that parent comes in there and starts cussing
attacking,
and ranting, and you've seen it at the front desk, they won't even help you anymore. But how did we let these
the gatekeepers
they have no authority. They won't even tell you what a grievance is. So what I do is I spell it out for you. I know it.
Yeah.
In each one, and it's state after state. But if I went into a school, I go, show me what you do with this paperwork, and I have a right. So I can read medical records if I have that right.
Right.
So sooner or later, somebody's going to come in and go, so where does this paper trail go? We had one in Hampshire for net where the principal forged the kid's name on it. And so me to take that to the school board, it's a waste of time.
Yeah.
Other than we got enough evidence at one point where I'm going to be at the center going, here, how much more? This isn't collusion.
Yeah.
Here it is. It's right here.
Right.
Show me this. And they're held accountable for 7 years.
Oh, wow.
But you can't sue anybody after 2. But these are laws that they're breaking. And sovereign immunity, you know what that means, right?
No.
Can't sue you because you're a government agency unless you're breaking the law, and all that crap goes away. So if you got a pet,
And those are things that people.
But But you
just don't know about.
As I work with these reports, I go, this is what they should be doing.
Right.
And when your kid gets retaliated, what was your plan? Did you have it written down and scratched notes on a is not a report.
Right. It's
and
not.
Definitions on a web page is not a procedure.
Right.
A procedure is, to put this together, you have to have a process. Right? Or it doesn't work. So that's
and you have to implement it as well.
So that's where I really help parents, showing them it's not wrong.
Right.
But I'll get the parents who go, they'll start crying because nobody believes them.
Mm-hmm.
Karen,
it's frustrating.
Karen Valentine, the grandmother, her kid was getting bullied.
Mm-hmm.
She goes to the school board and they use the N word 9 times, right? 9 times at the school board in Tennessee. And she's got it on tape.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, these are a bunch of racist guys.
Right.
There was what's the lawsuit? I don't know, but they threw the thing out of court. But she started crying because we were the only group that says, "Mama, we're here." So we give the parents some hope.
And it gets to a point when you're trying to protect your child and you can't get any help. You do feel hopeless. Okay, so someone wants to know: can parents have charges filed on them because their child is bullying someone else at school?
Yes, because of their age. If they're 18 and older, technically they don't get the charges because of their age, but if they're 18 and younger, you're going to get the charges just because your child is not fully an adult yet,
right?
They're not even at that adult level.
So they can go to the police station and say, look, this is what's happening. I've got documentations of every incident that has happened. What can you do now? The school's not doing anything. What can the law, can you step in? So they actually can have charges filed against them.
I've got a good point on that. Go ahead, sweetie.
You go.
Yeah, but you remember up in Wichita Falls, the principals that were arrested for not turning crimes into the cops? Remember that?
No, I don't remember that, but that sounds familiar.
Sexual misconduct with kids. So, but what I tell parents, I go, if your kid gets the crap beat out of them, not push, but I mean physically gets hurt and you have to go to the hospital, you have to go to the real police.
Yeah.
And I love campus police, but who's paying them?
Right, the school district.
And see, and for years we've allowed that, this little closed.
It's a little group, a little community.
I don't want anybody to find out that we've had this teacher that's a pedophile until it gets out, right? We don't want that to get out to the parents that we've had 48 beatdowns this year in this school. How many did you see that weren't reported?
Right.
Every day. So what and the Attorney General says, if your kid is injured, you need to call the police. And if they don't, they're breaking the law.
Right.
And so there's another one where how do you break that barrier, right? Does that make sense?
Yes, perfect sense.
Parents don't know that.
Yeah.
And so you'll have that not even a real cop. Some of them are from these, what do you call them?
Volunteer
or the guy that works at the
like a security guard.
And they think so they're doing the investigations trying to hide something from the school. Remember up in Ohio where they rolled that kid up in that mat and killed, and then the schools doctored the video so that it wouldn't make their school look bad. I see that all the time. But once parents, just like you're seeing over at Katie, parents have had a gut full of this, hiding things.
Enough is enough.
Enough is enough.
Okay, we've got time for one more question. This one says, what about bullying within the household? I think my husband sent that one in, so we can just bypass that. Because he's trying to accuse me of bullying.
Who's the bully? Who?
I get accused of bullying, and so does my dog. He gets accused of bullying everyone else. But I think in a household, well,
I do this.
Not the same rules, but it does happen a lot.
You got the kid that at night it's like a WWF, UFC fight for him. So he comes to school the next day, or she does, and she's up against this daughter that doesn't even know how to fight.
Right.
What chances do they have? And all they know is violence.
Yeah, that's all they see.
We're never going to break that cycle.
Yeah.
And you as a sociologist, how do you break that?
It is a vicious cycle. And it takes counseling, and it takes someone saying, here's a different way to live. Like, I know this is what you see every day, but let me show you something else. And it's, you can be a victim of your circumstances, or you can choose to say, you know what, that's how I'm living now, but that's now not how I have to have my life set up for myself. You keep going to school, here's the thing about school. It's not going to be sunshine and roses every single day. You know what I mean? There's going to be adversity. We just have to teach our kids how to deal with it. Now, bullying is a totally different beast. That's just going to come from people like you educating, others about bullying, because it is a big deal. You know what I mean? When you've got adults saying, I'm having to deal with adult bullies, it's a big deal.
I would love to put up a sign and talk for 10 minutes and it goes away. And let's try that with the drug addiction. Let's try that with tobacco. Let's try that. It doesn't work. It's a culture, and you take them one at a time to work with them, and you empower this little baby girl.
Right.
Because she is loved, and that's one of our... remember Nana? Hernandez? She was getting sexually groped at school. She's 11 years old.
Yeah.
Didn't do crap about it.
Yeah.
Right down the street in Hitchcock. And so she gets on the Drudge Report, she's getting a lot. So I said, little girl, would you like to go meet Brenda and Evan and sing the national anthem at one of our events?
Right.
So the next week she's down there singing, meeting these guys.
Yeah.
And so they're homeschooling her, but it was 3 days before school's out. They finally got a call. Let's try to fix this because of the Dredge Report.
3 days before school's out.
Which is not
a waste of time.
No, nobody's going to.
Yeah.
Right. So next year, I've even heard schools even wipe everything clean and everything that you've done. It's like, dude, these guys have been beating the crap.
Yeah.
But as you go look at my Facebook page, the kids from Arkansas that got off the bus and 8 little girls beat the crap out of them.
Yeah.
On and on. That's not bullying. That's assault and battery.
Yes.
Nothing happened to them.
Right.
On and on.
And until people are held accountable for their actions, we're still going to have things like this. Well, I truly appreciate you guys coming down here. I'm sorry that my animals harassed y'all a little bit and snored during the entire show. Okay, so Bud, give our audience the information if they want to contact you, ask you questions, and if you guys have any upcoming events that people can go to, tell it all.
Yeah, so my number is 713-478-3049, and I'll go to that webpage, I'mBullyFree.org, 501c3 on our Facebook page.
I was like, what are you pointing at? I forgot we had the flag up.
And that has all that information.
Okay.
But I hope my number's on every bathroom stall in the world. Because I get calls every day. Brenda sees them.
Right.
And so we have 5 chapters throughout the United States that have started. We have TKO, which is Tolerance, Kindness, Overcomes. That's a new group we're working with. Mundo Wear and all these guys. They're all helping us
get it out there. Yeah.
And we have a new little singing star that's coming out of Dallas.
Me?
Yeah.
Me?
Nina
I'm just
Marquez.
singing.
And you remember that song, I Think You're Alone Now?
Yes.
With Tiffany?
Yes.
And I
think we're alone now. Is that the one?
Yeah.
Yeah. But Selena's bass player, the guy, and I guess he's the producer.
Okay.
He's producing that song.
Okay.
So you're going to hear Naya Marquez here pretty soon, and she's
singing I Think We're Alone Now.
And she's got another song that's coming out, new album. So
Okay.
she's singing for the kids.
Okay.
And a lot of the money's going back to nonprofits, and so they're going down to Parkland to sing about it because of what happened down there.
Okay.
And so go up on our Facebook page. We're
To keep up with
constantly
what you're doing?
everything.
Okay.
We got a big concert coming on, and June.
Okay.
School's about out, so we won't see any more schools. But during our 10U, I can look at. I said we've actually touched or seen 500,000.
That's amazing.
And Evan and I, and so we do the neighborhood kids program.
Okay.
So we're always doing that. We're always at YMCA's and.
Perfect.
But the biggie is if you call me, you will get some help. At least if it doesn't help you, you'll
direct them in the right place.
We'll find you some help.
Well, God bless you, Bud. Thank you so much for coming down here. And thank you, Miss Brenda.
Contact me
Brenda, when you leave, I'm going to make sure you don't have my animals.
Okay.
You have anything you want to say before we go?
You can contact me at 979-388-8668.
All right. So you got all their contact information. Make sure to go to their Facebook page and like it so you can continue to get up-to-date information about I'm Bully Free. Thanks,
Peace
guys.
Out.
Bye.
Yay.